Hey everyone, Brad here again. Hope you're all doing great. Someone recently asked me online how the white interior of this car is holding up, given the fact that I am now just about at 35,000 kilometers and I have 3 kids. So I wasn't really planning to do a video like this, but because I was asked, I'm going to do it. So stick around if you want to find out. Thanks everyone. In an effort to prove that this is not staged in any way, my sunglasses are crooked. All I have done, I just dropped my kids off, and this is exactly how this car looks most of the time. I would say please forgive the mess, but hey, if you want to own a car like this with a white interior, in the same situation that I am, give or take, this is what's going to look like. Let me turn this thing around so you can have a better look. So one question I get a lot is about this suede stuff. I know it's made from some type of recycled material. That's great. Occasionally it gets the odd black spot here and there, but if you rub it out, you can kind of see it's all right. It does have a little bit of direction. You can wipe that one way or another, but otherwise, I think it's holding up well. You can see here where there's a little more where I obviously touch it as I'm pushing the button. Apparently I have really bad aim, but that's that. Everything else, like this plastic up here, I mean, it's again also made from recycled material of some kind. I'd love to look into that more. Frankly, I should have before I made this video, but it's holding up well. That's holding up well. Even on this the flying bridge, I guess, gets a little more traction, or a little more touching and affection, shall we say, from the kids. Even the cup holders have held up pretty well. These things can occasionally pop out, if you get bumped. So if that ever happens to you, just pull them out. This one's a little crooked. Well, not bad, but see there, if that happens, just pull it out like that, and then it'll work again. So that's cool. There's probably some apple juice spilled down there. The armrest, obviously it's where I rest my elbow practically all the time while driving. Yes, that's a bad habit, but I do. It's held up well. Again, 35,000 kilometers almost. In fact, here, let me turn this thing on so you folks know that I'm not full of crap. Let's see here. There we go, 34,682 kilometers. And again, I've had this car since brand new. If you're new to the channel, you don't know that. So everything else, the side here is holding up well. Everywhere where I spend a lot of time, I like to think is holding up pretty well. The only one thing that I have to stop doing is I keep losing travel mugs, my coffee travel mugs. So I set my ceramic cups here, and there's just a little bit of scratch here, but that's certainly no fault of the car. It's 100% my fault. I should just not do that. One very typical teenager-ish kind of thing that happened is my son opened a Sprite can in here, and of course it sprayed, and what he happened to get was all around here, so all of these buttons got really sticky. That was a total pain in my butt, shall we say. But you know what the trick is there, if you don't know? These ones, I mean, they're kind of, there's not a lot of room on either side of these things, but what I do is I have a bottle of rubbing alcohol, which I keep in here, because you never know. There it is. Just one of these, and then I just soak it once in a while if I find it being annoying. And then as being a typical dad, I also have a roll of toilet paper in the car. So I spray it down, I use it a bunch of times, and then I just wipe it dry, and then it dries completely. And I find that works on any sticky button. He even got a few of these ones here, but now they work like brand new. And I find as I'm driving, if any of that does happen, for a while after, I thought I got it all, but it didn't work completely. So I would just treat it again, and now they're back to brand new. That was probably about 10,000 kilometers ago now, so they're clearly working fine. So yeah, the interior is holding up really well. There's a couple of scratches on the nav screen, but that's from my kids, not anything else. And there are probably feet. So those of you who are parents know that that kind of crap can happen too. I always try to tell my kids not to climb through here when they want to come to the front seat, or vice versa. But you try telling your kids that. I do, and they just laugh at me, which is pretty typical. So let me get in the back seat and I'll show you what that looks like from now. Okay, I'm back. One other thing I'll mention is, hey everybody, I'm 6'2", almost exactly, just slightly over to be honest, and I have not moved the seat forward, and this is how much knee room I actually have when it comes to me sitting in the back seat. The only trouble I do have is, let me turn the camera around, let's see, there. This is unrelated to the wear, but I hit my head on the roof a lot. Most of my height's in my back too, so that's my only complaint. But I slouch, and then you know I took a ride in the back of here as my son drove for about 3 hours. It wasn't terrible, so that's okay too. But anyway, let me turn this around and I'll focus on the car, not myself. So again, back seat where the kids' knees would hit, and they were jeans and you know anything else, their feet would get all over here. Everything is holding up really well. The carpet's holding up well. Now, of course, I live in a winter country, so I put the winter mats in, so that's held up well. This thing gets dusty, but nothing's broken. You know, even the veins on this thing have survived a good couple of kicks. Oh, look at that. One of my daughters left a drink in here. The seats are perfectly fine. They're exactly the same color. And I know a smart person would do this, but I'm clearly not that guy. I have not treated these things with anything at all, which is exactly what I should do. So anyway, I'm going to get back out of here because this is a little bit too zoomed in so you folks can see. But everything here, where there's lots of activity in this car in the back seat because 3 kids in hockey gear, and everything is holding up very well. Don't mind the crack in my windscreen, but again, for a light interior, I wanted that specifically because again, no sunroof. The black interior seemed pretty I don't know, like a tunnel, I guess you might want to say. When I bought this car, I was coming from a car that had a big sunroof, which I liked. You know, it's not a convertible, but I liked the view, the visibility, and the kind of the airiness. This car does not have that. You can't get one, at least in Canada, with a sunroof. So at least the light interior brightens it up a little bit. So that's the where we are now. Let me get out a bit so you can see the rest of it. Even the door handle, the suede. You know, I wouldn't want to put peanut butter in there, but it's holding up well. You know, the plastic that gets kicked, this stuff just comes out. I soak a rag in a rubbing alcohol and usually get that out of there, or even just a warm cloth with some soapy water on it, and then that works. None of this is permanent. It's just some dirt. Obviously, it's had its share of apple juice and a few things spilled on it, and it's come out just fine. So there's one other problem area which I actually will mention, and let me pause this and I'll get right back to it. My only complaint with the interior of this car, and it's not unique to this car, I wear suits for work, but I wear jeans almost exclusively the rest of the time. And you can see as I come in and out, and again, I've not treated this, I've not cleaned it, I've not done anything, which is exactly what I should do. But again, I'm not that smart. This is the only thing that's starting to discolor. I mean, that's just dye from my jeans. I wear pretty dark jeans sometimes too. So depending on what you buy, blah, 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 there'll be more. If you guys, any of you folks that are watching have any recommendations for how to clean that works specifically for what you guys have done, that'd be fantastic. You can see a little bit there, not so much on this side here. Even the bolster is holding up really well. And again, this car gets a lot of use. During my typical week, I'm in and out of it 1,000 times. You can tell, like in 18 months, I've got 35,000 kilometers on this thing. It gets a lot of use. You know, some of the, as I keep saying, it lives a bit of a hard life in my, with my family and everything else, and it's holding up pretty well. So that's a bit random. I apologize for kind of all over the place, but that's really what this thing is, how it's held up. I'm very impressed with it. Again, the suede and the non-standard materials, again, because it's kind of made out of that recycled stuff, you know, that can have spurious success. But everything about this car is holding up as good or better than what I anticipated. Again, the high traffic areas, enduring the occasional spill from kids, it's done very well. And yeah, it's due for detail. I drink a ton of coffee, so I've clearly spilled some in there. But everything, like I say, is held up very well. So anyway, folks, a bit of a random video. Thank you for your attention. And if you have any other questions about this car in any way at all, please don't be shy. That's where I'm standing in an industrial area, big deal. I'm always happy to help. I'm always happy to explore these things. Like I said, I was not planning to make this video, but someone asked me how it was holding up. And at the end of the day, I'm sure lots of people have those questions. So I'm more than happy to indulge any of these things at all. So anyway, once again, thank you. It's from thank you from Brad here. And I'll see you folks in the next video. Take care.